This is going to be anti-rotations for your abdominals, and I'll also show how to do repetitions on this, which would normally be called wood choppers. Now, when I'm doing this, I like to use cables, and then I like to make sure that I have something to sit down on. Reason being, the cables will help keep my pressure consistent. If I use resistance bands, it's going to be a lot more torque. This is going to be abdominal rotations and anti-rotations. So sometimes you'll see the repetitions called wood choppers, and I'm going to show both doing repetition and doing the isometric holds here. So I like to start with cables. They will keep your torque a little bit more consistent. If you use something like resistance bands, you lose a lot of your torque as you get closer and you take tension off the band, and you really increase it the further you go out. So that can be good, it can be bad. I just like the fact that this is a little bit more consistent. Now you'll see that I also have something to sit down on. I would really recommend having some sort of seat, and if you don't have a seat, maybe even sitting on the floor in crisscross applesauce, because the more that I can take my hips out of the equation here, the better the abdominal work can be. Now I'm just going to grab with a single handle, and I'm going to start by showing the anti-movement first. So with this handle, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab it with one hand, I'm going to wrap around with the other, and I want to make sure that I'm keeping my hips and my legs aligned to go forward, and I'm rotating around through the spine and my shoulders. So I'm going to put my elbows on my sides and rotate away, and then I'm going to come over here and try to hold in the middle. What's happening is your obliques are working across to make your abdominals work and hold this anti-rotation. I'm keeping my elbows close to me so that way I don't put so much work and strain on my shoulders. Although if I wanted to, I could go further out to increase the leverage. This is just generally going to be better for people that have problematic shoulders or you don't want to work on the shoulders there. So I'm going to try to hold in the middle, right in between my legs, and brace my abs. I'm bearing down, I'm sitting straight, I'm not trying to lean into it because that's going to take the work out. And I'm going to probably hold for about 30 to 60 seconds. When I'm ready to return, rotate back. Now you can go further if you want. You don't have to hold in the middle, but you can go a little bit over. And then as long as you return slowly, you always want to be fairly slow in your rotations because you run a lot more risk if you go faster here of injury. Now to show you from the side, you'll see that I'm trying to keep my back as straight as I can. I don't really want to be hunched over like this. I want to keep some level of stretch in here. So I'm going to, again, keep my hips square, rotate my shoulders and my spine, pull it close to me to start, and then rotate toward the middle, holding a tall position and bracing my abs as well as I can, and then slowly rotating back. Now, if I want to run repetitions, I want to make sure that I set my starting and ending point. So for instance, I can move my legs out to say, okay, I'm going to start at this knee and I'm going to end at this knee because I don't need to go an insane range of motion because again, I don't want to risk the extra injury. Just that little bit will be more than enough. So if I come a little closer, you can see how I'm going to run this range of motion. I'm going to set my legs. I'm still squaring my hips. And I'm starting over on this side, bracing, and rotating my shoulders to the other side. Not leaning into it, just staying straight up and down. And now if I want to stand, the big thing is that I make sure that my hips stay square. That's going to be quite a bit more challenging. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a wider position. I'm going to need to raise the cable up so that way the cable is starting at my chest position. Okay. So spread out position, making sure that my hips are square and my legs are stiff and stable. Keep my elbows tight to my body. Rotate my shoulders and brace. And then bring it over. Now on the standing, you will feel some work coming out of the leg that's closer to the weight. and it's going to help with your rotation here. But you want to make sure that you're not just twisting your hips, because at this point, I'm not getting any sort of deviation between my pelvis and my spine, and I may as well just do the anti-hold or the anti-movement. So if I'm going to do this, I can always close up my stance a little bit and make it harder if it's a lighter weight. But again, rotating from the shoulders and the spine and keeping my hips as stable as possible.